UEFA have launched an investigation into the crowd trouble that marred Manchester United's Champions League defeat to Roma at the Olympic Stadium. The violence was sparked by Roma's opening goal a minute before half-time. Both sets of fans charged towards the plastic screen which separated them. United fans breached the line of stewards. Plastic bottles, other missiles were hurled from both sides. Italian riot police reacted by beating United fans with batons. The trouble continued during half-time, with the Carabinieri continuing to use their batons to disperse the crowd. And from these pictures you can see that some of the fans were hit over the head. Well, announcements were made in both English and Italian, warning the fans the game could be abandoned if the violence continued. And the violence did continue, and there were also scuffles outside the ground roughly an hour before kick-off. Tensions high following a warning from United to their fans that they were in danger of being attacked if they visited certain areas of the city or used the metro. And Rome city officials reacted by saying they were outraged by that warning, saying it would only heighten tension.
Well, order was restored until United scored their equaliser. The 4,500 United fans inside the ground celebrated. Some of them taunted the Roma fans, which led to more bottles being hurled, although this time the police barrier wasn't breached. The provocation and the threats continued.
Well, United's fans were meant to be kept inside the Olympic Stadium for an hour after the game as a usual security measure. But they were held for almost an hour and a half before being allowed to leave by the police.
They finally emerged to give their account of what happened inside the stadium. The Independent Manchester United Supporters Association are compiling a dossier to submit to UEFA and are appealing to fans to give them eyewitness accounts of what happened and send them any photos or videos.
There was a guy who's sat there, he was in his 50s, just blood was pouring from his head. I went over to help him, and the next minute the police inside just come over, ran over and battered me. And
how did it all begin, from your perspective?
Well, they scored and Roma seemed to run at the fence and threw a load of things over, and I didn't see United retaliate. Things were flying over at us, and before you knew it, before any retaliation could happen, the police just ran in, were battered everyone, and a big gap opened up and this guy was sat there, and I just went over and his blood was pouring in bed, and I gave him a tissue and mopped his head up, and before you know it I was getting battered, and then they threw me down the stairs, dragging me, and they were just battering me all the way, and luckily the security from United jumped in and stopped it all.
Were Manchester United fans at all to blame for any of that happened tonight?
I didn't see nothing involved with Manchester United fans causing any trouble, and that's hand on my heart.
I think the police have geared up for this, haven't they? The police, it's a well-known city, well-known scenario, and the police have well geared up for this, and to some extent they want it to happen as well.
For some reason the riot police decided to stand down one side of where our fans were. When Scholesy got sent off, a load of stuff came flying over. Of course some people started to throw that stuff back. When that happened, the police, who you can see behind me now dressed in the riot gear, just waded into to our fans. I've heard that over 30 people have had injuries, some people have had to go to hospital, and it just didn't stop.
There's a chap in front of me, he must have been 60, 70-year-old. He sat on the seat, and I actually watched him being hit on the head with a baton by the police. I managed to get some tissues out and eventually managed to get his scarf over his head. I took him down to the infirmary, and when I got there, there's at least 20 other people in the infirmary down there. I got told then there's 3 other people taken to hospital at the same time. As people was there's 2 beds in the infirmary, in the casualty department, and as they were coming in, I had to get those people off because more people were coming in all the time. And when I see this guy that was injured, it was horrendous, just the police battering him over the head, and he was sat there, and all his knuckles as well was done because trying to protect himself. I've been to all the grounds in Europe, I've never seen anything like this. Leon was bad, but this is the worst I've ever seen.